Welcome to the Social Media for Real Estate Agents podcast, where we find rock stars in social media and get them to show us realtors how we can use social media to increase our business. I'm Khalid Aleem, licensed real estate agent in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware. And today my guest is Lillian Chukwueze.
Yeah.
That's right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. In this episode or in this podcast, we're going to learn how Lillian got to over or a little under 2,000 subscribers on YouTube and over 6,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. She's only been in the business for a short while, so she's going to kind of pull the curtain behind her business and show us what she's going to do. So welcome to the podcast, Lillian. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm great. How are you today?
Awesome. I'm phenomenal. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to tell you about the first time that I actually found out about Lillian. Actually, I was going into YouTube and I'm on YouTube and I said, okay, let me start searching like keywords. So let me see, okay, Philadelphia real estate. And I typed in Philadelphia real estate and I had did it a couple months prior. And I seen the usual faces, but then Lillian popped on. I'm like, who is this? And then even more, she was in my city, Philadelphia. And I'm like, what? So then I started clicking more and looking more and more at her content. And I was like, wow, she's phenomenal. I'm like, listen, I got to get her on the podcast. So tell us about yourself. Tell us about your background. What were you doing before real estate?
Okay, so after college, after I graduated college, I actually went right overseas to continue my basketball career. So I played basketball for a couple seasons over in Spain. And then when I came back home, I got a job and I was trying to figure some things out. I started working with like different companies when it comes to like their social media. So like I would manage their social media accounts. So I kind of have a little bit of a background in digital marketing. But soon after that, I actually came across wholesaling real estate. So I started my real estate journey in the wholesaling realm, started doing some deals that way. And then I wanted to add my real estate license to my tool belt. So I got licensed my license actually was active in February 2021. So last year, February. And ever since that, I started like kicking things off in March, started doing the social media thing. And here I am, almost a year later and still going.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like I said, I had checked that keyword a year or so ago and I didn't see you. And then and I'm like, damn, she's only been in the business for this long and she's got all of these followers. Mm-hmm. So you said that you played in Spain. How was that?
That was amazing. Like, honestly, there's no experience like that I've ever had. Like, just being able, obviously, when you're growing up, a big goal of yours, if you're into sports, is to play at the professional level. So once I reached that, it was kind of like a dream. It was like a dream come true. Obviously, I didn't play in the WNBA, but I just wanted to play pro. I didn't really care where it was,
Right. And they get paid more money over there, right?
Yeah, but you kind of have to build up that resume. Typically, the players that come from the WNBA to go to the overseas countries, they get paid more. But I mean, if you're going right from college to overseas, you're starting off from the bottom. You still got to work your way up. So it's subjective, but honestly, the experience was like no other. And Spain is amazing, beautiful, beautiful weather, beautiful people, beautiful beaches. I enjoyed myself.
Now, great. Now, did you know Spanish?
Yeah, so I did know a good amount of Spanish going into Spain. I did, not to toot my own horn, but I took like AP Spanish, or not AP, I took honors Spanish throughout high school. So I had I was challenged to learn a good amount, and subsequently it paid off when I was in Spain because I was able to understand a lot more than I was able to speak, but I took in a lot more. Basically, I learned a lot more when I was out there and I was just able to navigate a little bit easier. But I did also have my teammate who was a translator. She was fluent in Spanish and English, so she helped me out too.
Okay. Yeah, I had 2 years of Spanish in high school. The only thing I got is como se llamo. That's it. That's all I got.
Do a little bit better than that.
That's it. Actually, when I was in high school, I had a Puerto Rican girlfriend, so that handicapped me because she was able to do all the tests for me.
Oh my God.
Because we were in the same class.
Definitely a handicap.
She definitely handicapped me.
Oh.
But okay, so you came back, got into social media. Now, how did you get into social media? Because I almost want to say it's like somebody who's just because we use social media casually. So then to turn it into a business, is it something that you studied first, or it was just kind of like, hey, we like this person, now let's train her on being a social media manager?
Yeah, so no, I took a lot of like digital marketing classes when I was overseas. So I would take like online courses, and I actually started my own digital marketing agency, like in transition of when I was out there and, when I came back home. So I definitely had a good amount of knowledge before like, starting to work for people. Like I paid a lot of money to learn like a lot of different skills within social media to literally start my own agency. So that was really like my way in. And I just started managing accounts for different businesses like professional public speakers, some gyms, some like yoga instructors. So like I did a lot. I did a lot of things. I was managing their social media. I was doing like creating like video content for them because I was also doing videography. So I was managing a lot of different aspects, and pretty much I just spread myself out way too thin. And so like when I came across like real estate, I always wanted to get in real estate. So when I came across like the wholesaling aspect, I just tried it and it just worked out. So that's when I shifted my focus from my digital marketing agency to now being into real estate and telling myself like the plan was to utilize all my digital marketing skills in real estate to get more deals. So that's what I'm doing.
You're a ringer.
You said what?
I said, you're a ringer. You're a social media ringer. You already had the experience and the know-how versus people like me who are just kind of transferring, okay, I'm using Facebook for leisure. Now I'm using Facebook for business. But you had a whole built out agency. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So you transition from the social media and then you transition into being a wholesaler. Yeah. So what made you go from, because a lot of people do it the other way. They'll be a realtor and then they'll go to being a wholesaler. So I guess why did you make the transition from being a wholesaler into a realtor?
So I started wholesaling with my brother. So that was really cool. And basically we started in 2019, right? So then 2019 was cool. Then of course COVID hit in 2020 and business hit like a standstill. You know what I mean? So it was really hard to like keep it going. And we made a lot of mistakes. Like we made a lot of money in the beginning. And then like when you don't know any better, you blow it. I mean, we blew it on like marketing and attending conferences. So it's not like we blew it on stuff, but we blew it nonetheless. And I think our biggest problem was spending marketing in too many different places and not being able to track it. So we did cold calling, we did mailers, we did bandit signs, we did everything you could think of, texting, RVMs. And so we blew all of our money. So we had to come up with more creative ways to try to start to get business. But I guess at that point, we kind of just lost momentum. And I was like, okay, let me try to add something to my tool belt to kind of help gain some more capital and start building this thing back up again. But as soon as I got my license and I started like marketing, I don't know, it's like the floodgates open and like all these people started, like all these retail buyers and some sellers started coming at me looking for help. So I was just like, you know what? Instead of trying to force the wholesale side, I'm going to let those deals come to me and I'm going to work the retail side because that's what I need to focus on now because that's what's moving. So it was kind of just like a natural transition. I never like totally denied wholesaling, but I was like, you know what? Okay, like when these deals come naturally, like when I get like a pocket listing or when I get a wholesaler that needs like a buyer, I'll work it that way. And then let me focus on the retail side because again, like that's what was coming to me. So I just wanted to go with the flow. It just happened naturally. So that was the transition.
Okay. It's like almost like playing basketball, just kind of letting the game come to you versus forcing your shot over here, just letting the game come to you. That's great. So now you transition into being a realtor. Okay. You're a fresh realtor. What's your plan or what's your strategy?
Yeah. So it's funny enough. When I started, I was like, okay, what's going to be my marketing strategy for being a real estate agent? Originally, I was going to continue to wholesale. I mean, not wholesale. I was going to continue to cold call because that's how I was getting my deals previously when I was wholesaling. So I was like, okay, well, the typical thing of whoever doesn't want to wholesale the property, end up listing it. But I'll be honest with you, like I hate cold calling, and I've made my YouTube videos about that. Like I do not like cold calling. I don't know anybody who does like cold calling. So I started to try to cold call on the realtor side, and I got burned out again. So first time around, like when I started wholesaling, I got burned out of cold calling. I was cold calling for like a year straight, like 3-4 hours a day. Like, you know what I mean? So when I came to the realtor side and I got burned out again, I was like, man, like I felt myself coming to that burnout. And I was like, I got to find something that like I know for sure, a marketing method that is sustainable. Cause I think that's the biggest problem when it comes to like any business. It's like, you need to market, right? So first of all, people suck at marketing. Most people suck at marketing. And then on the second part of that, on the second half of that, it's consistent marketing. So what I had to do was find out something that marketing that I knew I can do and I can do consistently. So social media has always been my thing. So when I started doing social media marketing, I started seeing results that I haven't seen before because I was being the most consistent with it. So like my YouTube, my Instagram, my TikTok, like those were the most consistent, and that's why I was seeing the most results. So when I started doing my social media, it just like started to take off, and I just ran with it. Like it's been the most consistent form of marketing for me, and that's why I'm seeing the results that I'm seeing.
Okay. Yeah. Now, digging further into that, when you say that you're doing social media, what are your darling platforms?
Okay, so yes, YouTube. And so right now, YouTube and Instagram are my biggest, or the platforms with my biggest audiences. Twitter too, but Twitter, I don't really use Twitter for like business. I kind of just play around on Twitter. But YouTube and TikTok and Instagram are my biggest platforms. TikTok I use a lot because I like the video feature. So I create my videos in that platform and then I post it on Instagram and YouTube Shorts. But TikTok, I have the smallest audience. So Instagram and YouTube. From YouTube, I funnel my audience. Like if they want to contact me, I have my email information there and I have my Instagram. So a lot of people actually DM me from YouTube. They're like, oh, hey, I saw you on YouTube. Just wanted to reach out. Or I'll just have people directly from Instagram contact me. So those are my two main platforms that I get the most business from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Using, because I do YouTube also, how exactly are you getting your content for YouTube? And when you are doing your video, is it something that you're coming off the top of your head with? Are you doing a script? Are you using a teleprompter? Or how does that look like in the background?
Okay, so this is a process that I'm still trying to figure out. But as of right now, for YouTube, I do use a teleprompter and I create a script. It's funny because, like I told you, I've watched Mike and his videos and how to do certain things. And, he does bullet points. I don't know if he still does bullet points, but last time I learned he was doing bullet points. But I've tried the bullet points and I've tried the full out script, like word for word. And I like the bullet point idea because one, you can, get out your script a lot faster, like just if you're writing bullet points, and then you could just kind of flow with it when you're making your video. But I do find it harder for me to I don't know, it's just weird talking to a camera versus talking to a person. Like if I'm talking to a person and I have like certain things I want to cover, bullet points are fine, but like I forget things when I'm talking to a camera. So the easiest way for me to do it, even though it takes more time, which is the annoying part, is to script it out word for word. Then I'll attach my phone to my teleprompter and I'll read it that way. And I have gotten to a point where I do think the videos look more natural than like just reading word for word. So that's what I'm doing right now. But I have tried the bullet points. And like I said, I just kind of like, it takes a little bit longer for me to film the video because I'm messing up a lot more than when I do when I'm scripting it. But the trade-off is I'm spending more time creating the script. So you kind of got to figure out what just works for you. And then as far as like my Instagram videos, I mean, that's off the top. Like that's like my comedy videos are off the top. And then like when I'm doing like informational videos, it's the same thing off the top. Like I'll have like some bullet points that I'll think about and then I'll just like put it together.
What's funny is me watching your videos. I never thought that you were reading from a script.
Really, on YouTube?
Right.
That's good.
Right. Oh, it's excellent. But when I'm looking at my videos, I'm like, look at him. He's reading. Look at him.
No, but you know what? With us, because we're watching ourselves, we're more critical. So unless you get like, sometimes when I'm looking at myself too, I'm like, all right, are my eyes like moving side to side?
Right.
But, sometimes like, because we can see ourselves a little bit more like than other people, it might not be as bad as what we think. So I would say just to see if other people can notice it, because I know when I look at my videos, I know I can notice that I'm reading, but it's very subtle, so if other people may not, because it's the same thing when you look at a picture, you take a picture of yourself and you're like, oh my God, look at this pimple. Like, look at this thing on my face. Like, you notice every small blemish, and then somebody else looks at your picture and they're like, what are you talking about?
Right.
So it's kind of like that.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, what type of equipment are you using? Are you still just using your phone, or have you stepped up to a camera?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've always had, because like I told you, I was doing videography before. So I've always had like a professional camera. I've used that in some of my videos, and I've used my iPhone in some of my YouTube videos. Mostly now that I have like more of a setup, I use my camera, but I don't think it's, necessary, especially for people to get started. I like it because I like quality. I like the quality of the picture, but I mean, as you can see on YouTube, there's a bunch of creators that use a regular iPhone and it's just as fine. Now, for my Instagram videos and TikTok videos, definitely just use my iPhone. I have used my camera for a couple videos, but it's not like, people like to see the quality, but it's definitely not required. Like 90% of the videos, 95% of videos on my Instagram and TikTok are straight from my iPhone.
Okay. Are you using a microphone with that also?
So with my camera, I do use a microphone, but I want to start using like my iPhone with my microphone. So with my camera, I always use my microphone, but I don't use it with my iPhone. But I do want to start using it because I do notice that quality of audio is like sometimes even more important than the quality of the video.
Right. I haven't graduated as far as to using a mic with my phone yet. No, I take that back. When I'm out doing like shots outside, I do have a lapel mic.
Okay.
So to try to cut down on the actual, like the wind, like when I'm outside. And so I don't have a string that's coming up here. So it's like a Bluetooth type deal.
Yeah.
So I'll take it like that. But Instagram, I always say this, Instagram has been my hardest platform. What are some things that have worked for you in Instagram as far as to get more followers?
Honestly, it's just constantly posting. Like when I was getting the most traction, I was posting 2 reels a day. Reels are definitely what you want to post. Like they're going to give you the most chance to go viral, and they're going to get you in front of the most people, because reels, they're showing to people who don't even follow you. So sometimes when I post reels, honestly, it's crazy. Like when you post videos, sometimes your least, like the video that you put the least effort in gets the most like traction. I don't know what the science is behind that. But sometimes when I post a video, I'll get like hundreds of people that don't follow me liking my video. And I'm like, where do these people come from? I don't question it, but I know it works. So definitely be posting reels. And if you can, at this point, to stand out from the competition, it's posting at least twice a day. Like I was posting twice a day for a good amount of time, and I was getting so much traction. Now I'm posting once a day, but I'm going to boost it back up to twice. Once a day is like maintenance at this point, but twice a day, like I was getting like at least a lead a day. So, and then if you want to like be more proactive and try to get more followers, I mean, go to your typical, the pages that you see have a lot of influence in your niche, and start to follow people that follow those people. So like you'll see a certain influencer and they'll post something, and then all those people, there's going to be a lot of people that comment. So you just follow those people because you know that they're interested in the same thing that you are probably selling, or whatever the case is. So, just try to connect and engage with people who are looking for what you have to offer, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Now, question, do you think that it matters? Because when you're following people, sometimes I always look at the follower and following. So do you think it matters if you see a person here and they got a bunch of people that they're following, but there's only a small number of people that follow them?
Yeah, I think it's a perception thing. So I think when somebody has a lot of influence, they will always have more followers than following. So when you see when you see a page and they have 50,000 followers and they have 2,500 following, you're like, oh, like a lot of people like follow this person. They must have something to say. Like, you know what I mean? Versus if you follow somebody that has like they're following like 10,000 people and they have like 3,000 followers. In your mind, you're like, like what? You know what I mean? Like I know it happens to me, and it doesn't necessarily determine like their value, like in real life, but like on social media, the perception is you want to be the influencer. Like you want to be the person that people are coming to you versus you going to them. So in the mind of a typical consumer, you have to have more of a following than, more followers than you are following. So yeah, I do think it matters.
Right. That was one of my mistakes when I first got on Instagram. I'm just following happy. I'm just following everybody.
Nah.
And I had all these followers. I was following a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then my followers were very small. And I'm like, okay, I got to change this because it doesn't look right. But I was just following happy. So then when TikTok came around, I was a little bit, let's say, more secure with my following.
Yeah.
Because that's actually my best platform.
TikTok,
is TikTok versus all the other ones. But because people have said that TikTok is more like raw versus like Instagram. Yeah. Like Instagram is more like showy and flashy. But
yeah, because Instagram had their phase of like pictures, like it was a picture platform. So like everybody's pictures after a certain time became really, really polished. Like the influencers' pictures became really, really polished, and they were only showing like very cool aspects. So like for TikTok to come around and be so like raw, and now Instagram is trying to include that as well. It's, it's still people still kind of have an idea of, okay, some things need to be more polished. Whereas though TikTok came out straight from the gates and just being super raw. So yeah, I can see that. Now,
with looking at marketing and advertising, marketing being free for the most part, advertising being you pay. Mm-hmm. Do you think that your business is more just marketing, or are you doing advertising, meaning like paid advertisement and paid ads also?
No, so my business is strictly just marketing, free organic marketing. I haven't done any advertising as a realtor. I did a little bit when I was wholesaling, but I mean, for the most part, I was always the person to manage other people's ads. And I do think advertising can be very beneficial. I just don't need it. So I haven't gotten into it as a realtor. So, I know that there are realtors that do it, but I don't need it. So I haven't gotten into it. And I don't know if I will get into it because, again, like if I'm growing, the thing about growing your organic marketing is that you become now like your own brand, and you become an influencer and just like kind of like an authoritative figure. Mm-hmm. If you do marketing, if you do advertising, I mean, you definitely can still like have a strategy to build your brand when you're doing advertising. So let me not say that. But for me, I just haven't had a need to do paid ads, but who knows, maybe in the future.
Gotcha. As far as how does your business look today as far as leads coming in? Because what happened is a lot of people will do a lot of activity on these platforms, but they won't necessarily convert. How are you converting that attention into deals or sales?
Yeah, so typically people DM me, and I tell people to DM me like in the post and everything like that. And what it comes down to is follow up, right? Because regardless of, even though like social media and like YouTube, you get the hottest leads, because when somebody's reaching out to you and they're seeking your services, it's a lot more, you're going to convert. There's a higher chance of converting them versus like you cold calling or like you doing prospecting, right? So off the bat, like you're going to have somebody who's more motivated to do business with you when they reach out to you. Now, everybody doesn't convert. Like, let's be real, and people don't convert right away. Sometimes it may be like a year down the line, or maybe it's 3 months down the line, or 2 years down the line. If somebody DMs me today, they're definitely not going to convert tomorrow, So it's just about follow up. Like that's the next biggest thing. And that's something that I want to improve upon. I follow up like manually, but I need to put an email sequence in place, a drip campaign and everything like that, and be giving out value through these emails. So I want to set that up, but converting them as of now, it's simply they DM me, I get them on a consultation call, and then I pretty much set up, my calls from that point on. As of right now, like I don't take care of them personally. I refer a lot of people. Listings I still do, but not buyers. So yeah, that's pretty much the process.
Okay. Because we're at our brokerage's EXP. So this is why I'm going to ask this question. Are you using Cavey Core? Because it has the automated drip campaigns in there.
Yeah, so it does. I never really I looked into it briefly, but I just never really spent the time to do it. Like I've been working, you know how they say you got to work on your business and not in your business some days. Like sometimes, a lot of times, like I get caught up in working in the business and I haven't took the time to sit down and just work on the business as much as I should. So that is one thing I'm definitely lacking in that I will make an effort to, make it better.
Okay. In reference to new realtors, because you were a new realtor not so long ago.
I'm still a new realtor in my book. A year, I still, people still look at me as a baby.
Right, right. Using social media, what advice would you give a new realtor just starting out, just got their license, and they've been using, of course, social media leisurely, but what advice would you give them to kind of transform that into business?
So I would definitely say the first thing you have to do is announce that you're a realtor. That would be the very first post. That's the easy one, right? And then start to just provide value to your audience. Like the people that you want to work with, you got to pick a niche, right? So like for me, it's usually like investors and like first time home buyers because I'm 28 years old and there's a lot of people like in my demographic that follow me that are just now starting to purchase their first home, or, maybe they purchased a home earlier and they're looking for their first rental. So like that's kind of my niche. So you got to figure out what the type of people you want to work with. It could be like, military people, helping people relocate, whether you want to work with construction, whatever the case may be, and then just start making videos around that. So you always got to figure out with social media or any type of marketing, like who's your demographic? Who do you want to go after? And then start making videos around that. And it has to be value add videos. Like don't just make like random videos. Figure out what that type of audience is dealing with and then make videos about that. So like first time home buyers is pretty easy because they have no idea like what the process is most times because they're brand new, right? So I make videos about that. Just very basic stuff. So I would just say start to create a content calendar, right? And then write down ideas of the videos that you want to create on each day or what I do is I batch. So I don't necessarily have a content calendar, but it works for a lot of people. And I'll just create a bunch of videos in one day and then leak them out as the week, goes on. But I would say at least start out and just write a bunch of ideas of videos that you want to create, pick 1 or 2 days and just make a bunch of videos about that and then just post them every single day. So that would be the easiest thing. But like I said, figure out what exactly the audience that you want to work with.
Okay. What tools are you using? I mean, because social media just has a plethora of tools out there. And as real estate agents, we get pitched every day on different tools. But what tools do you find work?
So I'm not really using that many tools. I used to be very into all that stuff. But there came a point in my business where I just had to simplify. So right now, I mean, even editing, like I edit my Reels and TikTok videos. I edit my TikToks. I create my videos on TikTok, edit them on TikTok. And then, so the only tool that I'm really using right now, I'm trying to think about, I don't even use like a video editing tool. For my YouTube videos, I have a personal editor who does all that. So that's completely different. Okay. But for Instagram and TikTok, like I said, I just create the video on TikTok. I edit it on TikTok. Everything is done on TikTok. And then the only tool I use this website called Snaptic. And then I just post my link in there. And I'm sure you've heard it. You post your link in there and it'll remove the TikTok logo. Then I repost that onto Instagram. So I don't really have any tools. I know they have a lot of different tools where you can, schedule your post and then it'll go out on all your platforms. I mean, you can use those. I have heard that they don't work. You don't get the same reach for some reason. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that if you use a third party, you don't get the same reach as you would if you post natively directly to that platform. So I don't know how true that is, but I just haven't, I haven't used any tools, honestly.
I haven't heard that last one. I mean, it will make sense. And for those of you who don't know, what she's saying is that if you just because you're allowed to in TikTok, where you can just take that and share it with Instagram and share it with Facebook. Mm-hmm. But if it has that TikTok symbol on it, they say it's like the kiss of death. And they won't push your video out if you just share it directly from TikTok to Instagram. So what she's using, I use it every day, but I don't know what it's called.
Snaptic.com.
Snaptic, right. Snaptic.com. If you'll go into TikTok and you'll copy it, you'll copy the URL address and then put that into SnapTicket and download it, and it takes that watermark, that TikTok watermark off. And when it does that, just put it on Instagram, and it's like, it's free.
Yeah.
It's free. It won't be locked up because they won't push it out because they don't want you. And this is something that everybody listening to this should understand, is that this is a business. Social media is a business, and they want your attention, because when they have your attention, they can sell that attention to advertisers. So they don't want to advertise another platform on their platform. Mm-hmm. So if that video, I don't know about pictures, but if the video has a watermark from Instagram and you try to put it on TikTok, then it's not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It can, but I mean, even the CEO of Instagram announced that they will not be pushing those videos. So even if it's working now, at some point, I mean, I'm going to listen to the CEO. I don't know about you guys, but at some point they might start to, not push those videos as much. So I would just say take precaution early, especially if it's free and it's a really simple way to, get the watermark off and just do it that way. And then you can use that video and post it on YouTube Shorts as well. So you can repurpose it for other platforms.
I just need YouTube Shorts to get their time up. Like, that's what always kills me, because it's only 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like, because most of my TikTok videos might be like 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. But now I'm trying to make a 1 minute so I can just put them over on Reels.
YouTube goes up to 1 minute, I think. I think so. I feel like I've posted some videos that have gone.
I just need 60 seconds.
Yeah, I feel like I have. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But one thing I did notice about YouTube is, because I'm still short of monetization, because you need 1,000 subscribers and you also need 4,000 watch hours. On my YouTube Studio app, it says that I've gone over 4,000 watch hours. I'm like at 4,200 watch hours or something like that. So I'm like, yes, like I'm going to apply for monetization and start making some money directly from YouTube AdSense. And then I went on my desktop to do that. And then it showed that I'm still at like 3,800 watch hours. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then I read like underneath of it said like, it doesn't include like YouTube Shorts views.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And thousands of my views have come from YouTube Shorts. So I'm like, wow, so they don't include that in the watch time. And I'm like, man, like I would be already monetized. So I think YouTube Shorts is actually really good for just traffic in general. But I think at the end of the day, they want to funnel the user into your long form videos, because of course, anything that's going to keep the viewer longer on the platform is more beneficial to YouTube. So that's something I recently learned.
Now, do you have any insight on the YouTube Shorts? And I'm saying that because I post YouTube Shorts and there's no traffic. And I'm like, okay, should I be using hashtags? Should I not be using hashtags? And they only give you like 5 spaces or 6 spaces to do anything. Yeah. So what's your insight on YouTube Shorts?
So it's not much. Honestly, at the end of the day, like YouTube did say that they will be pushing Shorts. I don't know how, like I'm not perfect at YouTube Shorts. Honestly, what I do is just take whatever I've posted on Instagram and TikTok and post it on YouTube and hashtag Shorts and hashtag YouTube Shorts. Like that's pretty much it. Some videos have taken off, some haven't, and I don't know the science behind it. Like I have, like one of my other friends, he posts a lot of YouTube Shorts and he doesn't get the views either. But I mean, I don't know, our channels are a little bit different. So I don't really know what the secret is with YouTube Shorts. But I don't know. I'm just posting. It's still fairly new. I think it's only been a year or 2 or something like that. Like very early in the game. So I don't know. I'm not sure with that one.
Yeah, YouTube Shorts it's a mystery to me how you get any type of traction on there. So what I'm gonna do is play around with it and kind of see.
Yeah, just post.
Right, just post. That's it. I was looking at, I forgot what her name is, Mouse. Do you know Mouse, the woman who she was doing a social media for Eric Thomas?
Oh yeah, Nikki something.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
She just had a real insight TikTok where she was saying that Wallow had figured out how to beat the algorithm, and it was just keep posting.
Yeah.
And have you tried out? I meant to ask you this. Have you tried out a social media manager as far as for them taking care of your social media?
I did, but it was very brief. Yeah. So I had somebody that was posting my videos, but it was very short. Like, and they were from somewhere overseas. I'm not sure if it was the Philippines or somewhere else. It might have been somewhere in India, I think. But I think it wasn't getting the reach. He only did like 2 or 3 posts for me too, but it wasn't getting the reach because I also, again, my friend, he has a social media manager and he found out the same thing. Posting from like a different country or whatever, it definitely does not get the same reach. Yeah. So what he did was a VPN, and now the VPN shows that the person is in like Virginia or something like that, and that's been working a lot better than being overseas. So I guess if you do use a social media manager that's outside of America, you probably want to use a VPN. But yeah, I only used them for a little bit, and I was just like, you know what? No, like there's too many people out here that I know that are doing it in social media by themselves. And sometimes I'm so quick to want to outsource something. I'm just like, get this off my plate. But I know if I can manage it, I know I can manage it when I started to delegate other tasks like in my real estate business. So I decided to keep working on the social media myself until I can get to a point where I can delegate it. But as of right now, like handling it just fine.
I never thought of the VPN, and actually I'm going to do some research on YouTube about that because I have a social media manager per se. Okay. Where I just had her, like you said, the maintenance post. So I had about 4 maintenance posts a day, and I would have her go through a third party and go in there and do it. But you can hook people up straight up to Facebook, that hooks up to Instagram, where you can hook a manager up and give them special rights for them to do it. So I haven't had her post that way, but those posts that she posts, they don't go anywhere. Yeah. They don't get any reach. And so I think that's probably why, because her VPN is in another city. So maybe you can, after we get off the air, maybe give me that person's name that used the VPN. I can reach out to them and see how their experience has been, because I'm looking to go a different direction as far as with her per se. So we'll see. Maybe she'll look at this one day and be like, what? Uh-oh. In any case. All right. So when realtors watch this program, I always want them to leave with something, with some type of action item that they can do. What play can you give the realtors as far as so when they jump off this podcast, they can sit right down at their computer or on their phone and do something social media wise to increase their business?
Okay. So other than the cliche post, like that's probably the most important thing. Post every day. If not, try to post twice a day, 3 times a day, even better. Like you want to be seen as much as possible, because social media is your version of your free commercial. Every day you have the opportunity to put out a free commercial. Granted, you don't want to blast people with just, hey, I'm a realtor, give me a call, be more creative, put out value. But other than that, I would say the way that I have kind of blown up, so to say, is that I've just ran with the trends. Like TikTok is the most trendiest app. Like Instagram gets like the seconds of TikTok. Like they get like the leftovers essentially. So I use TikTok to find all the newest trends, and the trends go so fast. So you got to like be on top of it. Yeah. So what I would do is just simply go on TikTok and pay attention to all the trends. You'll see like just throughout your timeline, different people that you follow, even in I don't know what it's called on TikTok, but the explore page version of TikTok, you'll start to see all these different trends. Whether they're related to TikTok or not, all I do is simply look at the trends and create a topic around real estate, related to real estate somehow. Like all my videos are literally, they are not like brand new videos. They're a trend that I saw on TikTok that I said, hey, like, I can relate this to real estate. And then I just made it that way. It's that simple. Like people think like, how do you come up with all these ideas for your videos? I'm like, they're already there. Like, don't reinvent the wheel. I'm literally just taking an inspiration from seeing a video, being inspired by the video, and translating it to real estate. And people are like cracking up. They're always like, I always get DMs like, hey, you're so funny. Oh yeah, and I need to buy a house. Like, So, but find out what works for you, because people also feel like, realtors especially, they feel like they have to like dance, or they have to do something like that's not natural for them. Like for me, like I don't mind dancing. I don't mind doing like comedy, because that's just what I do anyway. So figure out what, resonates with you. Because there's some people that are very successful that are just, they have the phone and they're doing just informational videos. They're just talking to the camera. So I would say figure out for what works for you. Look to try to emulate somebody, that resonates with you and the type of content you want to create. And then just find the trendy videos within that, strategy or that way that they're creating content, and then just put your own twist on it. Like, that's the best way to create content. And then after you create it, post every single day. That's my 2 cents.
So what you're telling me is that if I go to your TikTok account, I'm gonna see the latest dances.
I don't dance that often, but I don't dance that often because, I don't know. People I don't know. I don't dance that often, but I do dance once in a while. So you might see a little, little razzle dazzle on there.
Razzle dazzle. All right. Well, you're licensed in Pennsylvania. Any other states?
No.
All right. Well, Realtors, if y'all have a referral, all of her information will be in the description.
And I do get leads outside of PA, so reach out to me regardless. I am trying to create like a big realtor referral network to be giving leads out. I get leads from like DC, Virginia, Texas. Like, just reach out.
Awesome. And tell them for the people who are seeing this on somewhere on the podcast or where they can't read, where can somebody reach you at? Or where can they find you at on social media? So
I put my social media handle right here, since you guys might have a hard time spelling my last name. But definitely Instagram. It's the same on TikTok, and it's the same on YouTube. Those are my top 3 platforms. Like I said, use my content as a way to, maybe find inspiration to create your own content. And yeah, definitely follow me. And if you DM me, I know who you are, that you came from the Wolfpack group or you've seen this show, and I'll follow you back, because I don't know. Some people follow me and I don't know who they are, but they'll be like, oh, I saw you on this. I'm like, oh, let me follow you. So if you DM me, then I'll follow you back. But definitely, get connected on social media, and let's stay in touch somehow.
Awesome. Well, that is a wrap for the show. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And if you have any questions, let me know. But again, all of Lillian's information will be in the description if you want to reach out to her, y'all. All right, y'all. Till the next time. Don't smack anybody out there.
Thanks for having me.